6:47 in the morning. You wake up and you are the richest person on earth. You didn't earn it. You went to sleep nobody overdrawn, ordinary, an idiot whose checking account dipped to negative $12 last Tuesday. Then you wake up with $419 billion, your name glowing at number 1 on Bloomberg, above the oil families, above the tech guys. No note. No explanation. And your first feeling isn't joy. It's that you need to pee, and there are 4 strangers breathing on the other side of your bedroom door. That's the trade. You just got everything and lost the right to be alone in a bathroom. You stare at the number to make sure it's real, and it ticks up while you're looking at it. It does that now. It'll do that all week, whether you're awake or not. Here's what wrecks you by Sunday. This money is too big to spend. It grows faster than you could ever give it away. And overnight, the entire world quietly rearranged itself to keep it exactly where it is. You don't want the yacht. You don't want the jet. You want a 7-Eleven taquito. And that a $1.79 snack is the one thing on earth all that money can't buy you. You open the bedroom door and there are 31 people in your house. You counted later. In the moment, you just register tablets. Everyone is holding a tablet, and everyone is younger than you, and everyone is already looking at you like you're a meeting that started without them. The man in the quarter zip introduces himself as your chief of staff. His name is Brendan, or Brandon, and you lose it before he finishes saying it. You will lose it 4 more times today. He will never correct you, because $400 billion means you are now correct about everything, including names that aren't his. You did not hire these people. You don't know how they got keys. You don't know which house this is. You have, apparently, 11. And this one has a candy room and a car elevator and a kitchen the size of a sweet green. So you do the natural thing. You test it. Could I get like a Lamborghini, I guess? A configurator opens on 3 tablets simultaneously. Someone asks Verde Mantis or Arancio. You panic. You say never mind. You wave both hands like you're putting out a small fire. Nobody laughs. That's the thing nobody tells you about real money. The jokes stop landing because the staff can't tell anymore which of your idiocies are billion-dollar instincts. You have the purchasing power of a sovereign nation and the spine of a wet napkin, and the room is treating both with equal seriousness. You decide to make your own coffee, like a man, like a person who has at some point made coffee. You cannot find a mug. You cannot find the coffee. You cannot find anything because the kitchen is built for a chef, not for you, and a chef materializes Thomas, lean, Polish, terrifyingly calm already plating a sous vide egg cooked at exactly 145 degrees Fahrenheit, an egg you did not request and will not be allowed to refuse. You ask where the kettle is. Thomas looks at you the way a cardiologist looks at a man eating a corn dog. So you find the stove yourself. You fill a pot. You put it on a burner. And somewhere in the walls, a sensor decides that an unidentified person is operating equipment in an unsecured zone, and an alert goes somewhere, and 9 seconds later 2 men in soft jackets are standing in your kitchen with their hands folded, asking if everything is all right. Everything is not all right. You are the wealthiest human being on the planet, and you cannot boil water without summoning a tactical response. You let Thomas win. You eat the egg. It's perfect. You hate it. This is the first lesson, and it's free. Which is good, because it's the last free thing you'll get all week. The money doesn't buy you the world. It buys a layer of people between you and the world, and the layer is very soft and very expensive and completely soundproof. And while you stood there losing a fight with a kettle, the money grew. It doesn't need you to do anything. That's the part you don't understand yet, that by Sunday you'll be richer than you are right now, having tried all week to act like a person. The machine was already running. You just woke up inside it. Brandon clears his throat. He has a schedule. There are 19 items on it before noon. And you, $400 billion deep, fed an egg you didn't ask for in a house you've never seen, decide you've had enough of being handled. You're going to do one normal thing. You're going to walk outside, on your own legs, to a normal place, and breathe normal air. The room goes quiet. It's the specific quiet a room makes right before it watches you make a mistake. Outside is not a sidewalk. Outside is 3 Chevy Suburbans idling in a motor court, a bodyman named Desmond who is built like a vending machine, and a route that has already been cleared, which you didn't ask anyone to clear. You wanted a walk. You got a presidential movement. You climb into the middle SUV because that's the one they steer you toward, and you realize you don't get to pick the SUV, the seat, or the direction, and you are now, technically, cargo, expensive cargo, insured cargo. But cargo. Then on Sepulveda, you see it. The blue and orange. The 7-Eleven. Through the window you can see the grill turning, the taquitos rolling on their hot metal logs like little tan saints, and your whole body leans toward it. Stop, you say. Pull over. I just want a taquito. Desmond does not pull over. Desmond says the location is not pre-cleared. Then, because he is a problem solver, he offers to acquire the entire store. The land, the building, the inventory, the franchise. He can have it closed and swept in 40 minutes. You don't want the store. You want the taquito, the cheap one. The $1.79 one that's been rotating since before you were rich. He cannot process this sentence. It does not compute inside a security framework. A man worth $400 billion wanting one specific gas station taquito is, to Desmond, indistinguishable from a hostage trying to escape. So they take you somewhere appropriate instead. It's a restaurant in Brentwood with no sign. They emptied it. For you. There are no other diners, no menu, no prices. And a chef who comes out personally to describe a hand-dived scallop in a tone people usually reserve for newborns. Everyone is so kind. Everyone is so attentive. And that's when it hits you cold, between the amuse-bouche and whatever comes after the amuse-bouche. Nobody here will ever be honest with you again. Not the chef. Not Desmond. Not Brandon. The scallop could be terrible and they'd still describe it like scripture. Because $400 billion doesn't buy flattery. It makes flattery the only language anyone is allowed to speak to you. You will never again hear the words honestly. That's not your color. You have aged out of the truth. You try to do one human thing. You try to pay. There is no check. There is never a check. You will not see a check, a bill, a receipt, or a price tag for the rest of your natural life. The thing you now possess more of than any person alive, money, has just become completely invisible to you. You'll never touch it again. You'll never feel it leave. It moves in rooms you're not in. And here's the part that'll matter by Sunday. It's also growing in those rooms faster than this dinner could ever cost. You can't even see it long enough to spend it. You haven't even finished eating when a woman 2 tables over there shouldn't be a woman 2 tables over. Someone failed films you for 9 seconds and posts it. By dessert, you're trending. Not for anything you did. For existing in a chair near a scallop. You're not a man anymore. You're a forecast. This is the part nobody warns you about. You did not become powerful. You became weather. Something that happens to other people that they film and discuss and forecast that they relate to as an event and not a person. You asked Desmond to take you home. He says the route is already cleared. Of course it is. It was cleared before you decided you wanted to leave. By the time you get home, your inbox is a crime scene. You have 14 cousins. You did not have 14 cousins on Monday. There's a man named Greg who says he was your college roommate, which is impressive, because you went to 1 semester at Cerritos Community College and lived with your mom. There are 600 partnership opportunities, 40 quick calls, and 1 email, all caps from a stranger, that just says the word family. You forward it to Brandon. He says it's already being handled by intake. You have an intake. This is how you learn about the family office. It's 140 people in a glass building in Century City. On a floor you will visit exactly once, and their entire job, all 140 of them, is your money. There's a man on the 7th floor whose title is Director of Art Logistics. You have never bought a piece of art. He has a corner office. He has a deputy. The deputy has a deputy. You employ an entire ecosystem built around a hobby you don't have. Then your brother calls, your actual brother. The one who once told you at a Dodgers game that you'd peak at assistant manager. And for the first time in 34 years, he is nice to you. Warm, curious about your week. He uses your name twice in the first minute, which he has never done, because salesmen use your name and brothers don't. You can hear him being nice. That's the thing. You can hear the effort in it, the new careful softness, and it is the loneliest phone call of your entire life, because somewhere in the last 24 hours your own brother started handling you. You became a client to the person who taught you to ride a bike. You don't even get to sit with that, because your wealth manager, a calm woman named Priya, who speaks in the soothing cadence of a hostage negotiator, mentions something in passing. The foundation released a statement in your name this morning, and we structured the Cayman entity for efficiency. You'll countersign when convenient. You stop. A foundation spoke as you. A trust was built around you. Decisions were made in your name with your money while you were in Brentwood not eating a scallop. You signed nothing. You approved nothing. You are the most powerful person in the building and somehow the least informed. So you ask the only question that matters. Who has access to the money? And Priya pauses. It's a short pause, half a second. But you've spent your whole life reading half-second pauses across used car desks and rent conversations, and you know exactly what this one means. The pause is the answer. There are people who can move your fortune who you have not met. There are signatures that look like yours that you did not make. The machine that runs your money was running long before you woke up inside it, and it did not pause its operations to wait for your opinion. You look around the room. 31 in the house, 140 in Century City, 14 cousins, 1 brother, newly warm, 600 opportunities. Every single one of them needs something from you, and you've just realized the most dangerous ones are the ones who don't have to ask. The next morning, you're in a meeting you didn't schedule about a company you didn't know you owned. You own 9% of it. It's a logistics firm in Plano, Texas, with a name like a dental insurance plan, and somebody asks your opinion, and you still half asleep, still not built for this, say you don't really love it. You meant nothing by it. You say you don't love things all the time. You don't love cilantro. You don't love Mondays. By 2 p.m., it's a headline. Billionaire signals doubt. By 4 p.m., the stock is down 6%. By the close, the board has announced a structuring, and 400 people in Plano who have never met you, who have car payments and a Chili's they go to on Fridays, no longer have jobs. You did that with a sentence before coffee. So you try to do something good. You decide, like a decent person, to fix the world a little. You pledge $2 billion to clean water. You feel for about an hour like a hero. Then Priya, gently, shows you the aftermath. Your $2 billion is so large it broke the sector. Every other donor froze. Why give now when they can wait to see where the whale swims? 3 smaller water charities, the real ones, the ones with 9 staff and a Toyota, collapsed inside a month because their funding dried up the day you got generous. You tried to help. You bankrupted the helpers by helping too hard. This is the part that breaks something in you. You finally ask Priya for the real number, not the net worth, the other one. How much does the money make while you sleep? She tells you. Overnight, doing nothing, the portfolio earned more than the $2 billion you just tried to give away. You cannot outspend yourself. You cannot even out-charity yourself. The fortune regenerates faster than you can aim it, like a fire hydrant you're trying to drink dry. So you do the only thing left. You quit. You tell them to sell it all, give it away, burn it down, make it stop, make you normal. And the room looks at you with something close to pity. Because you can't. Liquidating $400 billion would crater pension funds in 3 states. It would vaporize the 401ks of your own employees, the 31 in the house, the 140 in Century City, Thomas, Desmond. It would, Priya notes, briefly destabilize the currency of a small but real country that you'd have to find on a map. You are not allowed to be poor. Being poor is now a thing you would have to do to other people. You sit in your chair in your 11th house, and you finally understand the shape of it. You don't own the money. The money owns you. You're not the driver. You're the engine it bolted a person to because engines run smoother with a face on them. Every move you make sends a shockwave into somebody's life, a Plano somebody, a charity somebody, and the only move that does no damage is to sit perfectly still and let the machine run you. And the machine you're starting to suspect has plans for you that have nothing to do with what you want. It has security plans, for one. You're about to find out why. The security briefing comes on the 4th day, which is 3 days too late, and they deliver it the way a doctor delivers a diagnosis he's already accepted. There are 4 credible threats against your life. 4. People you've never met have already done the work of wanting to kidnap you, and a firm in Virginia tracks them the way other firms track quarterly earnings. There is a kidnap and ransom insurance policy on you worth $40 million. And there is a rule, delivered flatly, that you are never, under any circumstances, to stand near a window above the 3rd floor. You live, it turns out, mostly on the 6th. So you take an inventory of your freedom. You own 11 homes. You own a Gulfstream G700 that can fly you to Tokyo without stopping. You own a 280-foot boat with a crew of 70 and a name you've never said out loud. And you are less free than a guy named Kyle in a 2009 Honda Civic. Kyle can decide at 11 p.m., on no notice, with no plan, that he wants to drive to Barstow for a Del Taco and look at the desert. Kyle can do that. You cannot. You require 48 hours of advance, a route, a medical contingency, and the quiet approval of people whose job is to assume everyone wants you dead. You have a jet that crosses oceans and you cannot cross town on a whim. You try to text an old friend. Marcus. The one who knew you when you shared a $40 Spectrum bill and ate ramen standing up. You just want to talk to someone who remembers your face before it was worth $400 billion. Security needs to vet the contact first. By the time Marcus is cleared as not a kidnapper, the impulse is dead. You don't text him. What would you even say? Hey, sorry, my detail had to make sure you weren't going to ransom me before I could ask about your kid. So you do something stupid. You rebel. You put on a gray hoodie. You take the service elevator, the one the staff uses, down to the loading level. You slip out the back, into the alley behind your own house, and for about 200 feet past the dumpsters, past a parked catering van, under a jacaranda tree dropping purple all over the asphalt, you are free. Anonymous. A man in a hoodie walking nowhere for no reason. It's the best you felt all week. Then a camera mounted on your own garage, a camera you paid for, running facial recognition you approved, recognizes you. An alert fires. The Suburbans come around the corner before you reach the end of the block, slow and apologetic, doors already opening. You weren't even trying to escape anyone. You were trying to escape yourself, and you funded the system that caught you. You get back in the SUV, and the thing settles over you, finally, completely. This is the most sophisticated prison ever constructed. 11 addresses, a private jet, a boat with a submarine garage, built with your own money, run by people who are not your enemies, who genuinely, sweetly, like you, and there is no wall to climb, because the wall is service, and you can't tunnel out of being cared for. You have everything. You can't go to Barstow, and somewhere under all of it, dumb and persistent, is a hunger that has nothing to do with food. So you make it an order. Not a request, an order. You call Brendan Brandon into the room and you tell him, in the voice you imagine billionaires use, that you want one 7-Eleven taquito, the one off the rotating grill on Sepulveda. You want to eat it in peace, alone, like a free man. Make it happen. You expect him to hand you one in 20 minutes. You forgot what you are now. What you ordered becomes a 30-person operation. It takes them until the next morning. They privately buy out the 7-Eleven on Sepulveda for the day, the whole store. Employees paid to stay home, a soft acquisition. Because the world's richest man cannot be photographed standing in a convenience store at the taquito case like a regular sinner. A food safety consultant inspects the grill. Someone discovers the taquitos in the existing case have been rotating since 4 a.m., which is deemed a liability, so fresh ones are sourced and brought in under temperature control. A $1.79 taquito now has a logistics line that runs north of $90,000. You don't learn the number until later. When you do, you don't laugh. You can't anymore. It arrives at noon. And here is the thing they got wrong. The thing they will always get wrong, because it is the one thing the apparatus is structurally incapable of understanding. They plated it. Thomas, your 145-degree egg savant has placed your gas station taquito on a warm porcelain dish, on the diagonal, with a small architectural smear of what might be a salsa reduction and what might be an apology. Before it reaches you, a man photographs it for the insurance file. Then a second man, wearing white gloves, lifts the plate and carries it to your table like it's the Shroud of Turin. You stare at it. This is not a taquito anymore. A taquito is the thing you grab with a paper sleeve at 7 a.m. and eat in a parking lot while a stranger pumps gas next to you and the radio plays something you half know. The whole point of it was that it cost nothing, meant nothing, and belonged to a morning where nobody on earth was watching you. They took that and turned it into an event. They couldn't help it. Everything you touch becomes an event because you became weather, and weather can't have a quiet snack. You pick it up. The glove guy flinches when you use your hand. You take one bite. It tastes like nothing. Not because it's a bad taquito. It's probably a good taquito, sourced and chilled and inspected within an inch of its life. It tastes like nothing because the thing you were hungry for was never the meat or the grease or the little crispy bubbles on the shell. You were hungry to be a person nobody was looking at, and there is no supplier for that. There is no fresh shipment of it under temperature control. They flew in everything except the only ingredient that mattered, because it's the one ingredient $400 billion permanently removed from your life. You set it down, half-eaten, on the porcelain, on the diagonal. Your phone buzzes on the table. Net worth, $421.4 billion. Up almost $2 billion since the morning you woke up, while you did nothing but lose. Slowly, every normal thing you used to be. For the first time, the number doesn't read like a score. It reads like a sentence, the kind a judge hands down. And you're starting to wonder what, exactly, money can't fix because so far, The list is everything that ever made you happy. So you start testing the walls. The real ones. The ones that don't take cash. You begin with your body, because that's the one thing you still half believe money owns. You want a full-body MRI, same week, no waiting list, the kind that takes regular people 4 months and a fight with their insurance. Easy. You donate a wing to a hospital in Santa Monica. You're in the machine by Thursday. And then the radiologist, looking at the screen, says the 7 words that cost exactly the same for you as for everyone. Let's take another look at this spot. Your $400 billion stops at the door of that room. It cannot make the spot smaller. It cannot make her voice more certain. For 90 seconds lying in a tube that hums, you are precisely as rich as the retired bus driver who was in there before you, which is to say not rich at all, which is to say a body, on a table, waiting. The spot turns out to be nothing, but the lesson stays. After that, you start cataloging the walls almost obsessively, the way you once cataloged things you could buy. You cannot buy a single day back off your age. The number that's worth 400 billion is the only number on earth that won't grow for you. You cannot buy your way out of an audit. The IRS, far from being intimidated, assigned you a dedicated team, a permanent, personal, government-issued fan club, the one group guaranteed to study you with total honesty for the rest of your life. And you cannot buy one human being into loving you who didn't already. You test that one last. Your brother visits the warm new version, the one who says your name. You ask him, almost begging, to just talk to you like before. Roast you, call you an idiot, tell you you'll peak at assistant manager. He tries. For about 10 minutes it almost works, and you almost have him back, the real person left in your life. Then he says, "Hey, while I've got you, there's a small thing I wanted to run by you." And the spell breaks like glass, even him, even the bike teacher. There's a number behind his eyes now, and there always will be, and the worst part is you can't even blame him. Because if your brother woke up worth 400 billion, you'd have a small thing to run by him too. There is exactly one person who never asks you for anything. Tomas, the chef. He just feeds you quietly, perfectly, and never once mentions money. And you cling to it, proof that one clean human bond survived the bomb. Then you see his contract. There's a clause. A bonus paid quarterly tied to principal satisfaction. Thomas is contractually compensated for your happiness. The kindness was real, and it was also a line item, and you will never again be able to tell which of the two it was, because the money got into the one relationship you trusted and dissolved the difference. That's when you finally understand the structure. It was never built for you to spend. Spending is what they let you think you do. The whole apparatus, the family office, the trust, the foundation that speaks in your voice exists for one purpose, and it's the opposite of the fantasy. It exists to keep the money, to grow it, to carry it past you intact into a future you won't be in. You were never the spender. You were the caretaker, and the estate has plans that outlast the man. At the end of the week, they bring you the number, and the number has gotten worse by getting better. $423.1 billion. You are $3.5 billion richer than the morning you woke up, and you want to be very clear with yourself about what you did to earn that $3.5 billion. You ate an egg you didn't want. You tanked a company in Plano with a sentence. You bankrupted 3 water charities by being generous at them. You waged a $90,000 war for a taquito you couldn't taste. You failed to walk to the end of your own alley, and the money grew anyway. It grew because of you the way a pearl grows because of a piece of grit. You're the irritant at the center, and the machine just keeps laying smooth, expensive layers around you, with or without your permission, awake or asleep. That's the whole secret. The one nobody tells you, the one you had to wake up inside to learn. The richest person on earth does not spend his money. He cannot. He is not allowed to. The fortune is bigger than any appetite. A human body can produce it, regenerates faster than a single life can consume it, and the entire structure around it exists to make sure it never, ever stops. You don't own it. You host it. It found a person to wear, and this week, the person was you. You ran the math, finally, on your own life. You spent 7 days trying to be normal, 1 ruined taquito, 1 unfinished walk, a phone call with your brother that turned into a small thing he wanted to run by you. And in those same 7 days, the family office in Century City quietly did its only job. It kept the money. It grew the money. It carried the money 1 week further past you, intact, toward a future you will not be invited to. That's the trade nobody mentions. They don't make you spend it. They make you guard it. It's 6:47 in the morning, 1 week exactly since the ceiling first scared you. And you're standing in the same bedroom with the 22-foot ceiling, holding a 7-Eleven taquito. They've been keeping it for you. In a $14,000 Sub-Zero drawer, perfectly preserved, the last one from the war. You take it out cold. You take a bite no one asked you to take, in a room where, for 1 second, you let yourself believe no one is watching. But there's a camera in the corner, and a man named Desmond down the hall, and 8 billion people who would film you near a scallop. There is no such thing as no one watching anymore. You bought that away without knowing it was for sale. You think about Kyle, the 2009 Civic. Barstow at midnight, Del Taco bag in the passenger seat, the desert doing nothing in the dark, and no one or caring where he is. You'd trade for it, right now. The 11 houses, the G700, the boat with the submarine garage, all of it, for one Tuesday as a man nobody is watching. There's no transaction for that. It's the one thing not for sale, and you're the one person on earth who finally has the money to know it. The taquito is cold. It still tastes like nothing. On the nightstand, your phone ticks. 423.1 billion. 423.2. It doesn't need you awake to do that. It never did. The machine is still running. So are the cameras. If you like this story, subscribe for more.